Hey, friends, it's me, Curtis. Welcome to the show. Today's show is a lot of fun. Got a friend from home from Conyers, Georgia. Her first cookbook came out, well, today. Katrina McCollum Young. Um, and I'll tell you more about her and her book in future shows. I'm very proud of Katrina. She did a great job in this book, and I helped a little bit. Anyway, looking forward to sharing Katrina with you all. Then we're going to wrap up. Well, not wrap up. I've got one more segment that I'll share next week. The cooking class we did with Sunrise Senior Living a few weeks ago. Anyway, hope you enjoy the show. Remember, as always, spread love. How you like my this is my yard. The California poppies over here, those irises. That right there is an apple tree with 4 different types of apples on it. My roses are starting to look good, and love those calla lilies. More roses over here. All right, y'all, enjoy the show. Have a lot of fun. Peace, spread love. Go Limestone Saints. Hey, friends, it's me, Curtis Aikens, Chef Curtis, with a friend from Conyers, Georgia. We're going back to my hometown. Who is this lovely lady on my camera? Please introduce yourself.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Katrina Young, and like he said, I'm from Conyers, Georgia, and I'm just happy to be here with you today.
Oh, no. We're happy to have you, Katrina. So now, homegirl, can I say that?
Yes,
And you're also like a first-time author, right?
yes, sir.
Ooh, before we get into the book, by the way, what's the name of the book?
It's called Katrina's Kitchen
Oh, my
Cookbook.
goodness. Go ahead. More. Tell me. Yeah.
Okay, it's based on faith, family, and food, and it's a Black family's journey over generations of where we met around the table, we cooked together, we prayed together, we fellowshiped together, and it's all the recipes have a story associated with it, and we have family pictures throughout the book and our family recipes.
I love it. I love it. So now it's Katrina McCollum Young, correct?
Yes, so it's I'm Dr. Katrina McCollum Young.
Okay.
McCollum is my last name, is my maiden name, and so
Right.
we're going with that.
So your family and my family go back a long ways in Conyers. That's what I'm getting to, right? So tell about the
Yes.
McCollum family, how long you guys have been in Conyers before we start talking about the Young side of the family. Is that
Well,
okay?
actually, on the McCollum side, we have our history traced back to the slave owners here in the county. So we are my dad's family was sharecroppers. The McCollums were, and we just have been here in the community, and we given back and worked and just have prevailed here in the community. And I love living
Amen.
in Rockdale County.
Amen. That's one of the things that's interesting about when you and I met, well, our families go back, like you said, to when our people were forced into slavery. From my family, the Aikens came from Aiken, South Carolina. And, the history that when people say we don't belong, hey, we were there before the county even became a county, right?
Exactly.
Amen. Amen. So you and Simeon, that wonderful man who helped us get everything set up today, how long have you been married?
So this year we celebrated 39 years on March 17th. So we've
Wow.
been married 39 and we dated 4 years prior to that. So
Wow. That's a lot. Congratulations, Miss
yeah,
Young. And you
thank you.
look young, okay? By the way, you look great this afternoon. Well, it's afternoon in San Francisco and it's early evening at home in Conyers, right? So you got
Yeah.
a couple of beautiful dishes out front. Can you kind of tell us what's in front of you there?
I made my chicken salad, and
Mm-hmm.
it has the nuts and it has the fruit, and it just has all the different flavors that just burst on your palate, and it
Oh, I
gives you
love that.
textures because I put raisins and cranberries in it, apples, celery. So it's just a family favorite, and I really love it. And on the left side is the wine cake, and usually my husband and I will make muscadine wine, and I will use real wine to make it. But this time, since we didn't have the muscadine wine, I made it with blackberry wine that you can buy from the store, and it has the nuts on it, and it's just a really simple recipe to make, and it's
Does,
included in the book as well.
does the family like that muscadine wine
Yeah,
cake?
and it is permeating. The aroma is permeating in here. I'm ready to cut a piece now, but
Oh,
we had
I
it for days.
I know. I wish you had sent me one of those. I should have asked, hey, Chef, can I call you Chef Katrina this morning and this
Hey,
afternoon?
call me Chef Katrina. It feels good.
I love it. I love it. I'm so proud of you in this effort. So we've got chicken salad on the right, on my left, your right. Then on my right, you've got that beautiful bear. What are the two things in the middle?
Oh, these are empty plates. So so I can cut it and eat it and show you how it tastes and all that.
Make
If
me
I,
jealous is what you're trying to say, right? You're trying to
yeah,
make me jealous, huh?
yes.
And I am. So now, can you hold the book up so we can see it at home? I don't have my copy in front of me. Oh, wow. So it goes on sale when?
So we're launching it on the 18th, which is next Tuesday.
Okay.
And it's Amazon is how we're launching it. And so we're pretty excited about that. It'll be in hardback, paperback, and an ebook copy.
Fantastic. So do we know the prices yet? Can you tell us what it's going to be? And are we
So
taking pre-orders?
yes, well, the pre-orders would be the paper is the ebook copy, and that's $35. The paperback copy is $42, and the hardback is $55 because
Okay,
I wanted to
fantastic.
have a premium product, premium color, premium pages. For you can use in the kitchen for a long time.
It's a beautiful book. I got to tell you that. I'm proud of your effort. So, is there one recipe in the book that if when we buy it or when we pick it up, we should go to first, or is there one story you'd like to share from the book?
So it's the Hawaiian banana nut bread, and my kids, well, my grown kids now, they call it crack because it's very addictive, and it's like the most requested thing that I make. When during COVID, I would post on Facebook that I made some, and people would drive by, and I just give them baggies of Hawaiian banana nut bread. So
Oh, that's fantastic. You know, I have a big love affair with the islands of Hawaii. I traveled there for the first time in the early 80s and just fell in love with the island of Maui. There's some folks from Conyers, the Mays family. They moved, Lenora Mays and her son Willie moved over from Hawaii back in the 80s and were great friends of our family. So she introduced me to her friends and family on the island of Maui, the Eleniki family. So I've been
mhm,
to Hawaii when I was younger. I thought I'd lived there. So the
mhm.
Hawaiian bread is one we've got to try, right?
The Hawaiian banana nut bread, yes, sir.
Do you feel like sharing a chapter with us? Maybe not a chapter, but maybe one of the stories. You want to read a story to it? One of the headers of one of the recipes. I'd love if you feel up to it. Now, don't be under pressure, chef.
Don't be under the pressure.
Don't feel pressured, chef.
Well,
This is your baby.
oh, it's my baby.
This is your
Okay.
baby. So, if there's one recipe that you want to share with us, or one of the stories, I'd love to hear it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to just share that Hawaiian banana nut bread. How about that?
Oh,
Yeah. Yes. So the Hawaiian banana nut bread, my sister Grenade gave me this recipe, which is honestly my most famous recipe, if you know me. Grenade, she was next to me in the birth order. She's the second oldest daughter. She was very loving and affectionate, and she just was just really great to everyone. And my sister passed in 2018,
I'm so
but she
sorry.
was a cog in the wheel, and she is greatly missed. And she would make this banana nut bread every holiday season. And when she made the banana nut bread, my kids wouldn't eat it because they didn't like the nuts. But what I did, I took and put all the liquid ingredients in a blender, and I would blend it with the nuts. So they never knew they had nuts in
I
there.
love that. Well,
Yes,
that's a great trick to share with other parents of young kids. Like eating your vegetables, a great way to add
yes,
vegetables to a dish as well, right?
yes. And so they've been eating it ever since. They know nuts are in there, but they don't
Right
have
now,
to chew on the nuts and the texture. So this is what they share, and this is what they take to their friends. This is what, when I have it, everybody wants to know at the house.
I
If you
love
have
it.
some banana nut bread, they coming to get it.
They're going to show up. Well, when I get back to Conyers in May, I'm going to swing by for some of that banana nut bread, okay, and that chicken salad. I'm dying to try that. You know.
Thank
So, is
you.
there anything else you want to make sure we know about this incredible cookbook that you have put together? I mean,
Yeah,
we're so proud of you.
thank you, and thank you so much for your support and just the encouragement, Curtis. I really appreciate it. And I think thank you for this opportunity. I did dedicate this book to my grandmother and my mom. Those are the shoulders that I'm standing on now.
Amen.
My grandmother, was known as the Black Betty Crocker, and she knew a lot about cooking. And I learned to cook from these two ladies, and I didn't realize I was learning to cook just from hanging around and being in the kitchen. And it's like it's coming to me, you know, when I'm in the kitchen, I was like, oh, you know, it's like, you know how sometimes it just hits you right.
Right.
And so I'm just so very appreciative. And she was the one, and my mom, they carried on the tradition of family meals and family. And we, you know, we still do that to this day. And we talk
Fantastic.
about that in the book, how we had those fellowships and people come together and check on family members. We were the resources. You know, if somebody needed help or needed something, it came from the family unit. And
Isn't that
so that's
fabulous?
what I cherish, those memories, childhood and young adult.
So you've got a lot of that wrapped up in this gorgeous book, right? So
Yes.
we get to learn about the McCollum and Young family over the years. So nowadays, when the family's together, how many are there? We've got 2 generations, 3 generations, 4. What's the breakdown now?
So my mom is still alive. My dad passed in 2020. So it's her generation down to my grandchildren now.
Oh, wow,
And
4
so,
generations there.
yes,
I love it.
her generation.
That
Yes.
is fantastic. So, Katrina, thank you so much. I look forward to having you back on the show when I'm in town, and we'll cook together. We'll do a live show where we'll be side by side cooking. Are you up for that?
Sure. Yes. I got the kitchen and ready to go.
Let's do it. Everybody, Katrina McCollum Young, homegirl, Conyers, Georgia. Her new book, tell us the name again, Katrina.
Katrina's Kitchen Cookbook. And it comes out on April 18th.
The recipes are easy to prepare. They taste great. They're full of love. And the stories in the book,
yes.
share your love of the Lord and your love of family and your love of good food. Thank you so much, Katrina.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
All right. Suggestion for that. Any more questions, comments, Emma?
Thank you, Curtis. Yes, so we had 2 comments in here from Kathy and Rochelle saying that they're learning so much. This is fantastic, and thank you. And then Rochelle shared a tip about the puff pastry.
My sister. Oh, sorry.
It's important to keep the puff pastry well chilled before rolling it out. Need to work with it pretty quickly or it'll become difficult to handle. That's a great tip.
All right, Rochelle, you got to come on the show with me soon. We got to do some more. We got to do some more tips. All right. Anything else?
Nope, that's it for right now.
Ooh, now this next recipe, before we get there, so I've given the tip on look at it. I given the tip on feeling it. Ooh, the next tip is to smell your fresh fruits and vegetables. What do you say? Yes, use your nose, okay? This is one of those tips. Again, Joe Carcione, I go right back. Oh, I got to share with you all. In my career, I mean, I'm like the Forrest Gump of food. Okay, how Forrest Gump bumped into everybody. That's me, right? I mean, it's like years ago, I'm living in New York, and we go into Mickey Mantle's restaurant. This is back in the day when Mick was still alive, right? So I walk in and I got this book under my shoulder, and I hear someone go, "Hey, kid, what do you think of that book?" And I turn to my right, and there's Mickey Mantle. I end up sitting there with Mickey Mantle for like 3 hours, right? And I get to this point to where he says, "Okay, you've heard me talk. What would you like to know from me, kid?" And I said, "Mr. Mantle." He goes, "Call me Mick." I'm like, whoa. So I'm sitting here with number 7, right? The real original number 7, and he's saying, call him Mick. So I asked him, I said, "Mick, what were you thinking about when you went to the batter's box?" Because now Mickey Mantle was like, he was like Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Mickey Mantle, right? Joe DiMaggio, these guys. However, Mick hit from both sides of the plate, right? So he says, when I went to the plate, it's all situational, right? I go up there, and if there's nobody on, Curtis, I've got a hitting zone about that wide. He actually did his hands like this. And I'm thinking, oh my God. He said, if the ball was in that zone, it was gone. But remember, hitting, just like life, is situational. We've got to be able to adapt. He says, now, I could have been a really good baseball player if I just stayed in that zone. However, if you want to be great, you've got to expand your zone. In other words, you got to be able to fight off those bad pitches. We've got to be able to fight out these ailments that happen to these bodies as we mature, because we don't get old, right? We're like fine wines. The more years on us, the better we are. So I use that as a metaphor for me, right? That's why I like to take yoga. That's why I do my walks. That's why I we've got to exercise our brain. So Mickey Mantle says, like, if there's a man on, if we're behind, if the Yankees were behind and I'm coming to the plate and I know I got a man on second and there's 2 outs, it says I've got to really protect that plate. So if there's any chance that the umpire's been calling balls and strikes outside of that zone, I've got to protect that zone so I get a pitch that I can drive. So I learned so much in my time with Mickey Mantle. So the whole thing about and I share this with a lot of my players as I coach them, if you want to be great, you got to get out of your comfort zone. All right, y'all? Moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, whoever's watching this show, if you're comfortable, you're not learning. Okay? And we talk about learning. I like to share the fact that learning is lifelong. I've had some incredible mentors and teachers, 2 people that touched me most in my life, other than my family, Steve and Jenny Seibel. They're the people that taught me to read. All the books you see around here, y'all, 10% of my royalties I go back to reading programs because I didn't learn to read till I was 26 years old. I got into this food world to create a platform so I could speak out for reading. So I love volunteering. I've spoken with kids all across the world. In fact, I was in a textbook. And so I get these letters occasionally on my YouTube channel in particular because kids are into that stuff, right? So I get letters from China, from Africa, from all across America, kids saying, tell us what it was like when you couldn't read. And here's the easiest analogy is that it's like that blank screen I'm looking at, or a dark room, and reading are the lights coming on. And it's incredible. So if you got some spare time, I'm not telling you to do this, I'm just sharing with you the joy of giving back, reach out to a reading program. I'll never forget getting to meet Ruth, who started Literacy Volunteers of America. And that's one of that work is one of the first things that took me to the White House. I cooked for Mrs. Bush, George Bush Sr.'s wife, and Barbara Bush. I'll never forget, we're at the White House, there's a reception there, and I'm in line to meet the president, and I hear Miss Bush saying, Bubba, that's Curtis, he's my hero. And I'm like, first off, who's Bubba? But I realized she was talking to her husband, and then I'm thinking, First Lady calling me her hero? Wow. So that's another highlight in my career. And then I got to cook with Miss Obama at the White House. I'll never forget, I was at the White House on my brother Jeffrey's birthday, October 14th. And we lost Jeffrey to cancer 8 years ago. And I'm standing outside the White House thinking about Jeff and he and my dad, and they would have loved to have been there. So when I meet Ms. Obama, I'll never forget, she came out and gave me this hug, and I almost fell over. I'm not kidding you. I was like, I grabbed the wall. Talking about highlights of a man's career, getting to meet several first ladies. Miss Clinton was fabulous. Anyway, back to food. This next recipe, did I give you my tip? Use your nose. Okay. When produce is ripe, and I say produce in this case, right? Because there's fruits and there's vegetables. What is tomato? Is it a fruit or a vegetable, right? Well, botanically, it's a fruit. However, in 1892, the Supreme Court said it's a vegetable because of certain tariffs that the British had, okay? Here come the tax man, as the Beatles saying, right? Okay, I'm not being political. I just thought that might be a good joke, okay? So the tomato, when it's ripe, it smells, oh wow, you can smell a tomato, right? It gives off this tomatoey smell, right? So we've got to have an encyclopedia Curtis of my knowledge of smells, right? Vegetables have this beautiful, sweet, or should I say fresh smell to them. Peaches, and early in the show I talked about peaches being a great gift. When I was doing the home show at Sarah Purcell, it was May 20th, 1992. Wow. And that's when she said, Curtis, so you look a little nervous. I said, well, the baby's coming. So she says, well, you better hurry up and do this segment. I said, well, peaches. If it don't smell like a peach, it ain't gonna taste like a peach. I'll see you. And I left the show and flew home. Curtis didn't show up to the next day at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. However, it makes for a great story, right? The same thing with apples. So We're going to look at it. That's a beautiful organic apple. It's not ugly. It's heavy for its size, and it smells like a Fuji. Okay. Again, I don't want you to be culinary shamed if your budget does not allow you to buy organic apples. I want you to buy what your budget allows. Also, buy what you can use within 3 days. That fresh fruits and vegetables, the most nutrient are right there in those first three. After 3 to 4 days, they start to break down. No matter what people say about their storage systems, buy what you can use. We've gotten away from fresh foods to using, stored foods. I love going to the market. Remember early in the opening when Mom talked about how much she loved cooking for her family and the people she loves? That's me. Lisa, I love it. I love her more than anyone I ever met. She says, baby, you don't have to cook every day. I know you're tired. I said, honey, I'm cooking for you. I love you. I love you and me, right? So I like cooking for the people I love. That's the two of us. All right, so that's how many of our tips? 1, 2, 3. We've got 2 more tips before the day is over. Here comes a recipe that you're gonna love. We got this at a restaurant called, a good buddy of mine, Joe Lococo. The restaurant's called Lococo's up in Santa Rosa. If you get to California, you've got to visit this restaurant. All this beautiful pasta. Whoa, Lisa loves angel hair. That's out front. The 2 cheeses you see in the front of the screen, one is a picarone, I always say it wrong, and the other is just Parmigiano Reggiano. On the back burner, you see the water starting to cook. Then we've got, I've got a whole block of the 2 types of cheeses. I've got some kosher salt, pepper, of course, along with the olive oil. And the tomatoes are there just for good looks. Oh, and the key ingredient is the pepper. Cacio e pepe is the dish that we're gonna make for today. This is a fun, easy recipe. And like I said, there are the peppercorns. I love how that just popped in there, right? Huh? All right, our water's coming to boil. We're gonna cook our spaghetti. Lisa loves the angel hair. Myself, I love the fettuccine. There's a cast iron skillet. First time it makes an appearance today. And those are the peppercorns. We're gonna roast those peppercorns in that cast. There's nothing in that stove. Got my gloves so I don't burn my hands. The reason we love cast iron is because it holds heat. It's great for roasting. On the left, I bring out my mort and pesto. That's a word there we go. And we're gonna take and grind these. I've had that mortar and pesto about 20, that along with my knives are older than my children. Just take your time, grind those up. Of course, you can use a grinder. I used to recommend to folks that they have can you pause it for a sec there, Emma? I used to say to folks, if you want to grind certain things up to keep an extra, like buy a food processor, right? Not a food processor, but like an old coffee grinder, Mr. Coffee. I used to have 2 of those that I grind spices in, right? However, when I'm doing a small amount like this, I just still love my mortar and pestle. I can never say that word. Can you say that word, Emma? Pestle.
I don't think I can either. I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Yeah, can anyone in the Zoom area, Zoom room say that word for us? Mortal, I'm sure Rochelle can. I don't know, every show I've done for the last 40 years, I laugh through saying there's certain words that just don't come out right. Okay, you go ahead. We're gonna melt our butter in the pan here. Melt in the butter. Just take your time here and let that melt. I've got half a cup of that pasta water. And why are we using that pasta water? Because it's starchy. It helps to thicken that sauce up. So what we're doing is just kind of toasting now with butter. Gonna add the pasta water. We're making our cacio e pepe sauce. A little more butter there. Now, I'm going to add my noodles. I gotta go make this dish before I go to the airport, y'all. This is gonna be I've got a Wellington, and I'm gonna take cacio e pepe on. I'm adding my Parmesan and my pecorino. Just gonna toss it over. Check it for seasoning. A little more Parm and Romano. Look at that. Oh, which wine is that? I can't see the label on that wine. I like a little red with this. It's a lighter red, I'm sure. And there we go. This dish, I want you all to really try this one. And one of the things we talked about when I was talking with Emma yesterday during our rehearsal, is that that's a base. We can add chicken to this. You can add slices of beef. You can add vegetables to this. There's so much you can do. And one of the things we can come out and we come back to you and me, if you don't mind. And any questions about this from anyone or?
Nope, it doesn't look like we have any questions right now.
Right. Hopefully you all are enjoying this. So let's see some thumbs up if you guys can. You guys, that was a wrong thing to say. If anyone in Zoom land have comment, throw some hearts up there. Let us know. We want to be this cyberspace thing. I think you can give you thumbs up and on mine it's okay. Let's see if I can put a reaction down the bottom of your Zoom screen. There's a little thing where you say reactions. Okay, y'all. I am not so vain that I can't put my glasses on. I know TV producers say, well, Curtis, take your glasses off. I'm like, oh, but I can't read anything. So down the bottom, that little thing. So I'm going to show you, I got my hand up. Let's see what else we got. I'm going to lower my hand. Well, I can't give any hearts though. It just says, all I can do is ask questions. Okay, well, that's cool. Now, moving on to, there's a couple more tips we've got to give about produce, right? The next one would be, look at it, feel it, smell it. Ooh. I think I got it. I'm just about there. Look, see. Okay. Buy what's in season is number 4. Okay. So tomatoes aren't really in season except for those cherries. The other thing that's in season right now are root vegetables and the deciduous fruits. We're still getting apples, we're getting certain things like that. However, the big thing are the root vegetables. So buy what's in season. Here's a tip for knowing what's in season. When you walk into the produce market right now, all across, especially here in California, the citrus is beautiful citrus in markets. So it's citrus season. So I'm building menus around the citrus and the root vegetables, right? We can make a nice little dressing with any of the from the citrus family, whether it's Meyer mint lemons, that's my Meyer lemon tree right there. No, that's my orange tree. This is my Meyer lemon tree, right? Let me see if I can get out of the way here. It's right there. Now those trees behind us right there is my nectarine and my peach. Oh, this thing is my banana tree. And if you go to my website, you'll see me holding a banana, a stalk of bananas that actually grew in California, in Northern California. Yes, you can grow bananas here. So buy what's in season. Now here's the 5th tip, which is really, really key when it comes to buying any fresh food. And I want you all, drum roll please. I want you to get to know your produce person. He, she, or they can tell you when things came in. They can tell you where they came from. They can give you tips that you can't just read on a label. This is especially a big tip when you go to farmers markets. Again, these 5 tips work with any fresh food, whether it's seafood, right? One of the biggest tips about buying seafood, right? When you walk into a seafood shop, if it smells like fish, turn and walk out, okay? One of my favorite seafood places is Point Loma Seafood down in San Diego, California. So when you're down there, go in. They make the most incredible soft shell crab sandwich. And all their seafood is incredible. There's actually a show I take from there that's on the